Hey you guys, all right, today I want to talk about favorites. I have some new things to share with you guys, a few new things that I bought recently that I really like, and we're going to talk about some things that we haven't talked about in a while, some shows, and I'm going to talk about the Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. If you're into that, that's going to be at the end. The shows are going to be at the end. So not all of you follow that, or you know, whatever. It's personally, if anybody ever, even if it's something that I haven't seen, I just like hearing thoughts on different things and like recaps on different things. So I think it's kind of fun. Okay. I am in my bedroom today just because I thought the light was pretty in here. It may not be perfect. We'll see how it goes. That's like the theme always. Anyways, y'all, I have so much to show you, but then at the same time, I feel like we're probably going to get through these beauty things pretty fast. But I do have some updates and some different things that I want to talk about as well. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so first, y'all, these earrings. I ordered some things from Uncommon James maybe like a year or so ago. I have this little like round necklace that I really like. I don't remember if I got anything else, but anyways, I saw that she had, it's Kristen Cavallari's business, or you know, y'all know. I didn't really know that she had home stuff, so of course that like sucks me in, right? And I saw that she had these really beautiful candles, and for the price, yeah, it's more of an expensive candle, but for this is like a 48-ounce candle. I didn't think it was that bad. This is like the size of my Tom Dixon air candle, like the big one. I got Nashville Citrus, and I don't know if I'm gonna leave the label on it or what I'm gonna do, but I just thought it was a beautiful candle, and it came with this little lid as well, which is kind of cool. So I don't know, but if you're into candles, these smelled really good. Feel my hair already like driving me nuts. It's kind of getting a little later. I'm just like, right, okay. Much better. At least I'm not gonna like mess with it, right? Maybe. Okay. All right, y'all. So that one was good. And then I got this one too. I just thought that the container was so pretty, but this is, I think, called Campfire Cowboy. But they're soy candles, so like the wax seems nice, but I mean, I've only tried these 2 scents, but they're good. The Nashville Citrus is very strong. I think it said mandarin, mimosa, and sandalwood. So it's not just like straight citrus, which, you know, I like stuff that has like layers. The Campfire Cowboy is nice because it has that hint of like firewood. If you're familiar with the diptyque, the Faux de Bois, that's a really good one, but it's not as strong as that. It has a little bit of like vanilla, like it's a little sweet. So I just thought the container was so flippin' pretty. I'm like, that's gonna be nice even when it runs out. But as I was looking, of course, you know, I peeked over at the jewelry, and I really fell in love with these little guys. They're like little crosses, and what I like about them, and what kills, I think, a lot of cross jewelry, is that it's just like too like a little like, not like gothic, but just like aggressive. I don't know, but I just thought these were so nice. They were delicate, and it was a part of her collection that was like, what's the word? Not plated, gold vermeil. So it's like sterling silver pieces that have like a 24 karat gold plating or whatever. And then I'll link to my little set of Huggy earrings that I wear all the time. Speaking of like hair and stuff, I've really fallen in love. I mean, you guys have seen me talk about this before, the Way Heat Protection Spray. This stuff is really good, and you know, I very rarely will heat style my hair, but when I do, that is such a good one. But I've really been enjoying this. It is the Way Super Dry Shampoo. It smells so good. Their stuff smells like delicious. I love the scent of all their stuff. I got this, the Gimme Brow in shade 3, and I've always used shade 2, but when I ordered it, it came in this little set, and it didn't say that when I ordered it. Like, it didn't advertise this is what I was going to use, but it's this little, it's called a blowout set. And so you get this one, which is normally like pretty small anyways, and then you get the little mini size, which I thought was so cute. So I'll link to where I got that. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to like advertise that that's what you're getting, and if that's whatever. It costs the same as this, you know, as it anyways. But I've always really liked this product, and I've always used the 2, but now I'm like, okay, I need darker brow products. But this is the one that I kind of went back to that I had from a long time ago, which is the Chanel, just their brow gel, and it's literally called Brown. So I don't know. I've really been loving this. Now, I've talked about this before. It is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Nothing, you know, groundbreaking. It's a makeup setting spray, but it actually works. What I've been doing with it is I take like my brush, or if I use a sponge or whatever, and just spray it. lightly, like when you're done with your makeup, like, you know, spray your face, whatever. Okay, like, you know, and then just like go up under your eyes, or just like kind of roll it up under your eyes. And I'm not kidding, like it will keep your under eye area from creasing. And I mean, I feel like I use good things under there anyways, but it just sets it. I don't know, it's just so cool. But anyways, that's just a nice little trick, and this actually works, so check that out. What else? I've been really loving this still, and I want to say I talked about it in a video recently, but I don't remember. Sometimes I'll think that I'll think that I talked about something and I didn't, or I just don't remember because I talk about so many things. This Farsali, the one called Liquid Glass, it has hyaluronic acid. It's a hyaluronic acid serum. And when I first got it a long time ago, I had no idea what to use it for. I just thought, this does not work. I don't know what the point of this is. I thought it was like some kind of, it says it's supposed to make your skin look like glass, you know what I mean? And I was like, no. But what I've been using it for is kind of almost like a makeup primer. Like, I don't love a makeup primer. I don't love to layer a bunch of things. I think a lot of them are a little gimmicky. But I put a little bit of this on my fingertips and I just like press it in here, like before I do my makeup. And then sometimes like I even like pat it around the rest of my face because I was a little afraid it was gonna break me out, and so far it hasn't. But like, just put it in areas, you know, like where you might look a little old or whatever, like throughout the day, or like where your makeup might settle. And I really have been liking it. So I don't know, I feel like I've used a whole bunch of it lately. I just thought I would kind of swing back around to that. This I grabbed because it was next to my bed. I love this. It's the Milk Melatonin Lip Mask. I do feel like it's really relaxing. Smells really good. I'm almost out of it, but it's a really good one to put on your lips at night. I always like to do a little bit of clothing things when I do favorites, and I saw this morning after I already had this on, and I was like, you know, I just didn't want to change, so maybe I should have just worn this for the video. But anyways, I love this sweatshirt. I'll link to it too. It's one of my favorites. I have it in blue too. But yeah, I probably should have worn this. You've seen me wear this in a bunch of videos. This is, I would say, one of my all-time favorite sweaters, and I wanted to give you a heads up because I believe it's something crazy like 70% off right now in all of the colors. They still had a really good size range left, but even in like warmer weather, totally, like I could see just like wearing this with shorts or bringing it like even to the beach or something for like cool nights. It's just such a good sweater. The sleeves are so beautiful, but I feel like y'all have seen me wear this a ton, but it is a really nice sweater. I was ordering some things this morning, and like I said, you know, I just thought I'm gonna give them a heads up because I don't know how much longer it's gonna be on sale. So check that out. And speaking of that, I have not bought clothes in so long. And I mean, you know, like people talk about that this year, like, you know, they didn't buy as many clothes or this or that. I feel like I got a lot of, like, I got some good loungy things. What did I really buy though? I'm trying to remember. I mean, I've bought things here and there, but not like I usually do, where it's like clothing try-ons and fashion haul, all of this stuff. Like I haven't been doing that. And I live in these comfy sweatshirts, comfy clothes. I'm not trying to get like fake dressed up every day so that I have something to post. Like I just feel like I always keep it real. I just post what I'm actually into or what I'm actually wearing. And that didn't really change this year. So last year was like very conducive to my style anyways, because I'm very, you know, laid back and I'm not like trying the most every day. Do you know what I mean? I'm so excited to get some new cute like little comfy dresses and comfy clothes and just some cute things. Do you know what I mean? Like just, that's to say for a lot of us, like, you know, planning trips or just like getting back into like the world. Okay, whatever. But I think spring clothing and stuff is gonna be like more fun than ever this year. I will have a Nordstrom video coming up soon because I know you guys love those and I have missed doing those. So that'll come up soon. And oh, and then like I was saying, I'm in here in our bedroom and I do have some updates. I mean, you guys saw when I got the new bed last year and stuff, and a few new things that I finally, you know, got new furniture in here after. I think the bed that I had and the furniture, which I still have my original dresser, it was stuff that I had since before Brad and I were married. So it was like over 15 years old, which things can last forever. I'm not even saying that's old. But someone the other day, and there's like very like analyzing, which I don't know, like I don't even know how people even have the time or energy to like focus so much on what anyone's doing. But they're like, oh my gosh, like you always change your stuff, or you just bought new bed stuff. And I'm like, first of all, I've owned this house for 8 years, okay? I've lived in this house for 8 years. We lived in a different house before that for 3 years, and a different place before that. And this ain't my first place, okay? I didn't just move in here, and I'm not swapping everything around. I do move things that I have all over my house. Y'all know that, okay? And I think that's pretty normal when you've lived somewhere for a while, when you've had a home and, you know, you're decorating stuff. But like I'm gonna yeah, it's like zero shame in like redecorating my room, or not even redecorating, but just getting something new. And I think people also think I live in like a 2-room house, or like I have 1 bedroom and 1 living room, which isn't the case. Like our basement when we moved in here had like 4 living areas alone, and y'all don't even realize like when I buy things, when we moved into this house, I didn't buy anything new. I brought all of my old stuff, which was a lot of hand-me-down stuff, old stuff from my grandma, or old stuff that I'd had from even before, right, to this house. And I didn't move in here and say, I am going to work on decorating the whole thing. I didn't do that. Like I said, I've been here for 8 years. I love this house, and I, you know, I do look at it as a place where we could stay like very long term. I always hate to say forever house, because I just feel like that's, but then I like to treat everywhere that I live like that, because otherwise what's the fun? Like I just love to love where you live, or where I live, you know? I have said this since the beginning on my channel. When I've done decor stuff, I have posted decor stuff for years. Do not feel like you have to fill up a house all at once. If you have something old that's not perfect, who cares? Use it. But don't run out and just buy filler things, which I did that, gosh, probably, like I said, 15 years ago. You know, like when we were first, you know, starting out and stuff, there were some things that I sold at garage sales over 10 years ago that are long gone by now. But there's also things that I have that I just absolutely love. So, you know, find things that you really love. Don't go and just buy a whole room. But I'm also not, you know, I didn't buy a new house. First of all, my house is 8 years. Again, like I don't know why people are acting like I'm just now. I don't get it. Like I bought 2 new chairs, swapped out an old couch, and bought new bedroom furniture, and it's like, oh my gosh, like she's doing the most, you know? No, that's what you do when you own a home, and when you buy things slowly and thoughtfully. But it is funny, I think people just get like, they either are used to just like, and I'm 36, like I said, this isn't my first house, but maybe you are 36 and you've just moved into a new house, okay? No, that's not the case, all right? I didn't just buy everything all at once. It's very collected. Like I said, in here, I've got new pieces. I've got old chairs. I've got my old dresser. I kept the things that I liked, and I got things that worked together from different places that were new, you know, that were thought out. My old table, these are the best tables. Ooh, it probably looks really dusty in the sunlight, but I love these. I'll link to these. I have 2 of these. I have one that I use as a desk in my closet, and then this one was in our hallway for a while, and I moved it back in here because I wanted a little spot for my lamp, which I'll talk about in a second. That's the little lamp I talked about the other day, because I don't have an overhead light in this room, so I need like all the lamps. You know, either you're used to that, right? Right? She's moved just into a new house, and you're just buying everything all at once now. Okay, like I said, I've been here for a long time. But also, you see also people that move into a house and it's professionally decorated and everything is done in picture perfect in like a weekend. And that's not what I'm working with either, okay? Like things have definitely evolved over the years. You're gonna always see me get new things. You're always gonna see me change things out. And if I bring in something new, that doesn't mean I got rid of what was there before. It means like there's still things that aren't decorated, and that's crazy to say. There's still things here. And that's just real life. The chairs that I bought in my living room, okay, these were in the living room years ago. These are such quality chairs. I custom ordered these in this material. They're scary because they're actually upholstered. They're not slip covered. So I do worry about them. So I wouldn't have these like in a family room or somewhere where they could, I'm sorry you guys, I'm trying with a light. I mean, whatever, it's not like you need, it's not like I'm doing like foundation swatches or something. It's like whatever, I'm sitting here talking, like it's fine. These are good like accent chairs. They were in my downstairs living room for a while, where I have my round chairs now. And then I had something different down there, and then I kind of moved, you know, some different things. Just because I have those, like these are up here now. The ones that were down there are in one of the little nooks in the basement, and love them down there. You know, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like the people that are so concerned are people that are just very bothered, and I don't understand why, and they're focusing way too much. Let's just say that, and maybe they need to take like a break, you know what I mean? It's just funny to see like what works people up, and decor for me is just so fun and like personal, and I just love sharing ideas, and I hope that that's helped you guys over the years of not feeling so much pressure to decorate something a certain way or within a certain time, or even like for anybody else, you know, for anyone else's approval, right? So when I see people commenting so much on what other people are doing, it just makes no sense to me because I could care less what's going on inside anyone else's house. Like I said, I love to follow accounts. I love to follow different things. Not necessarily because they're all my style. They don't have to be. So don't always try to, you know, so it's just a little odd when people always try to make everything about like them or that. It's just, I don't know. It's just like bizarreness, okay? It's like, I feel like the internet's been like a bizarro world the last like several months. Okay, speaking of my room and like some home stuff, so I want to do, again, like I said, I've got that beauty video coming up, but I might want to do another home video coming up soon because I want to show you guys what the basement's looking like. The cabinetry down there, it looks like a whole new spot. Like, it is the most beautiful color. It's the perfect like dark French grayish, not a bluish gray, not a purpley gray. It's just the most beautiful tone and made it so dark and moody down there. We did like some brass accents, but kept like those cool light fixtures, put more wine pegs on the wall, and it did like those floating like lucite shells with the brass. It is so pretty and cool. It did like these cool sconces. I cannot wait to show you guys. So I think I'll do that, and then I'll kind of, I don't know, I mean, I might share with you guys what the bedroom's looking like a whole overview, but I do like this little nook. So I think it's really cute. And then this lamp is the one from Target that I told you guys about. And what I love about it is that it's an actual like dimmable, maybe I don't know if you can see it so good, but it dims, which I really love. It's a very nice lamp. It's made very nice. And I thought when I got it, they were going to be kind of hard to find, but it seems like they've had a bunch of them in stock, like when I go to link to them for you guys. But this is already covered in dog hair. This is why we don't have like black accessories, and why honestly like white for us or like cream colored things are the way to go. This isn't like where we're living all the time. When you look at our like family room and even our living room downstairs, the stuff in the living room, the couch is slip covered. Our big sectional is slip covered, but it's more like a oatmeal color slip covered, but it just reads light. When I say slip covered, I even like this is a big rant, okay? I'm not a professional designer, but even I know this. Slip covered furniture is not what you would think. It's not like I bought separate slip covers. Even when I mention this, people say, well, where do you buy your slip covers? It is what the piece of furniture is called. Okay, this is upholstered. You cannot remove it. However, this might look the exact same, but be called slip covered because you could remove this cushion. Just picture if this cushion was removable, and then you could unzip this cover that is made onto it. That's not upholstered, that's called slip covered. So this is upholstered because you cannot remove it. And do you feel me? Okay, little lesson in furniture, which, like I said, I was listening to something the other day and some designer was like, yeah, you can. I was like, how do you not know the term? Like when I bought my sectional, which is not available anymore, I cannot link to it. I cannot even tell you what brand it is. It's just one of those deals. I got it from a furniture store. Don't even know, okay? They don't make it anymore. I do know that for a fact because one of my cushions does have a hole in it, or one of my slip covers. So I could unzip every single piece from that and put it in the washing machine, okay? But when I bought it, there was also a picture perfect, or just picture like mirror image version that was much cheaper, and it was not slip covered because you could, and I'm like, of course I'm going to pay extra and get the slip covered version so I can remove the covers from the cushions, okay? Okay, just a little FYI. And when you buy furniture, always try to get that. But yeah, black furniture to me is just like a nightmare, but I love these pillows. They come in a bunch of different colors, and I just think that they're just so yummy, and especially in a room like this where there's not a lot of color, there's a ton of texture. Even my bed that I got, like, let me show you, like when I bought my bed, I got one that had this, the light's gonna be all messed up, but that the backboard over halfway up the wall, this is this same material, and you know, just put some different like textural things. It just feels like yummy, and this is a perfect example. Like if I got this in like a cream color, it would still be beautiful in this room because of the texture, but I just thought the black was kind of fun. So I'll link to these, and they actually weren't that expensive, and they're just so like cozy. What else? Oh, let me talk about this. Okay, so I just bought a new one of these. I have one in our laundry room, and in Olivia's room, and then I just bought a new one. It's the Laundress Crease Release. I'm not like a fancy laundry detergent person, but I will try anything once, and I tried the Laundress laundry detergent, and I kind of really wanted to like it, but I just wasn't that impressed. I want my Tide Febreze Sport with the lady running with the green top. Nothing smells better than that. And just plain old April Fresh Downy. That is like the best combo. But y'all, I've used the Downy wrinkle releaser for years, and this is so much better. It smells really good, first of all, but it releases the wrinkles much faster. I've used it on, you know, my bedspread. I've used it on like heavier fabrics. But when you have a kid and they have like all those little t-shirts and little clothes, whatever, I love spraying this on her stuff just to like, you know what I mean? Kids' clothes start having that look to it. Do you feel me? And I love it. So try this. It's just their classic crease release. It's so good. You know, I will do a video soon of like home stuff. I think I got cut off earlier with my battery. I want to show you guys a little more things that I've done around the house, and like the update on the basement and a few new things. Let's talk about, first of all, I want to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Girl, I want to talk about a few things, okay? Dallas could not be more boring. Not even going to waste your time on that. I never thought I would say I miss Leanne Locken, but I do. Don't come for me, but I do. It's the most boring crap I've ever seen. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I was like, this is garbage. I didn't like it. Jen is still a little... But as the season went on, it kind of became this, like, comfort for me. Like, I don't know. I just always felt like it just was, like, something... I don't know. It was just one of those things, like, I'd watch it and I just felt cozy, or I just felt... I don't know, I really fell in love with Heather, and I think a lot of people kind of had the same feeling. Like, I feel like she, I don't know, everybody I think is just, I think she's kind of like become a favorite, you know? And the reunion, all 3 parts were very good. I think the last part was last night. But I did not realize how much I was needing New Jersey, okay? The first few episodes have been so good. I didn't realize that, like, I missed them so much. And then Atlanta, y'all, has always been, like, I'm from Atlanta. From the first season it was on, it was, like, my favorite. And then, like, maybe, I don't know, like, 3-4 years ago, I kind of fell off of it a little bit, and I stopped watching. There were some new people and some different things. I don't know. It was kind of like there was a few seasons, like, after Portia got divorced, you know, because she had, like, her first seasons with Kenya, and then that's when I kind of fell off of it. Last week's episode with that stripper, I need all the answers. I need to know. I do think that Kenya's talking a little too much. She was obviously traveling with the nanny, okay? So the nanny was there. When she's like, oh, I went out to make the bottle in the middle of the night. Because they're all trying to figure out who got with the stripper, okay? It was the craziest thing I've ever seen on TV, on Bravo, first of all. I don't know. I feel like I can't even tell you the things that were going on here. Like, that's how crazy it was. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen on Bravo. Like, honestly, I don't even think I can, like, tell you. Yeah, the sun is really starting to come in. I'm sorry if I'm, like, really bright, but whatever. So Kenya said she got up in the middle of the night to make her daughter a bottle, and she waited outside for 45 minutes listening in. And I'm like, if you get up in the middle of the night to make your daughter a bottle, you ain't, like, fooling around for 45 minutes. Like, you are getting your kids on your hip, or you're doing it as fast as you can. I think Kenya's talking a little too much about it. I don't know. And then Marlo said that she went out at the same time and also heard something, but somehow they didn't run into each other. It's a little odd. I think Kenya is, like, protesting a little too much. I'd be surprised. But then I don't know, I kind of feel like it was Portia, but I thought that, like, I have a friend that has not watched it in years, and I'm like, don't even bother watching the whole season. Just literally watch episode 10 of this season. Just watch episode 10 and thank me later. It was, like, thoroughly entertaining. Okay, and then let's talk about the Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Okay, so I love to talk about true crime stuff. If you have not watched this, it is kind of like the new buzzed about thing on Netflix, and I went into it thinking I don't know anything about this. They did kind of cover this story that was a little bit viral. It was like a viral video on YouTube was kind of a part of it years ago. Okay, we'll get into it. But I did have some issues with it, and I think a lot of people did, and it's probably like this, I'm gonna have the same thing to say, but it did sort of come to a conclusion. Like, you do find out somewhat what happens. And so if you're wanting to watch it, this isn't gonna be one of those open-ended things where we just discuss it and it's this unsolved thing. So maybe stop watching here and I'll see you next time, but whatever. I mean, I'm gonna talk about it. So first of all, it was 4 episodes. Now, here's what. If the Britney Spears documentary taught us anything, it's that you can fit in a hell of a lot of information, a lot of useful information, a lot of information that I didn't even necessarily know, a lot of information in an hour and a half, okay? These 4-hour documentaries, sometimes they're necessary. Murder on Middle Beach, like, I feel like I needed more. Like, that, there was a reason it was that long. It was this ongoing investigation that had been filmed over, like, several years. This was something that was put together after all of the info was already known. This happened, I think, in 2013 or 2012. And it was done by Ron Howard, who was like, you know, he's like this amateur filmmaker. He's like a Hollywood type guy. So there was a lot of Hollywood, you know, frills and suspense and twists. And now we already know the answer to this, but we're going to lead you down all these other things and like fool you and make you think something else. I felt like there was a lot of unnecessary if that makes sense. The Cecil Hotel is like downtown LA, like near Skid Row. And I've been to LA more times than I can count. I've never been downtown, and I think that was something they also said in the documentary, and that's something like I've even talked about with people, is that like when you talk about Los Angeles or LA, like it doesn't, downtown is not, there's all these different areas, like in LA County, it's not downtown. Like, so when people like this girl who it kind of focuses on, the Vanishing, which they end up finding her, I mean, it's heartbreaking, and I'll get into it. A 21-year-old student named Elisa Lamb. She was from Canada, and I don't even know if she'd been into the United States before. I'm guessing she had traveled to the United States, but she'd never traveled alone. And she plans this trip by herself to Los Angeles, and so I'm excited. And she goes online and is kind of fooled by this hotel, this website, whatever, which we'll get into. She ends up staying at the Cecil Hotel, like basically like on Skid Row. And this other couple that was a part of the documentary, this young couple from Germany, same thing happened to them. Like, they want to travel to the United States or to travel to LA, and they end up like downtown. It's like, so it's sad that people don't, especially this young girl who was killed, you know, didn't really understand that. And also that a lot of people, I feel, kind of like failed her throughout this whole process. And so it starts, and it's like the Cecil Hotel, and it's scary, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be scary and kind of supernatural. It's talking about, like, you know, the Night Stalker lived there, and there were just, in the time that this one woman worked there were like 80 deaths, and just deaths out the, like, all the time. People were dying, you know. It was kind of a like a long-term place, hostel kind of type of place, and then they decide it's gonna be a good idea when this woman kind of comes in, like, you know, she's gonna be the general manager of the hotel, and she's like, let's clean up this image of the Cecil Hotel, like, let's make this better, you know, let's fool these young people into coming to stay here for real cheap. And so they name a few floors of the hotel, like, basically they rope off a little piece of the lobby, like, well, this will be different, no. And there's like 2 floors that they're gonna call something different, sandwiched in between God knows what going on. And then these 2 little, you know, brightly painted floors, every floor, they all share the same elevator, you know, and we're going to market it as something totally different. We're going to call it, I think they called it like Stay on Main or something. And so that's what this girl thought. Like, so she came and, you know, is there, it shows you the elevator footage, the last footage where she was seen alive. And then I recognized it, and I thought, this is that story. Years ago on YouTube, I guess the investigators, in the few weeks when they hadn't found her, released this footage just in hopes that someone would recognize her, or someone would come forward or something. And people started breaking it down, and it got a little, people were going in a lot of different directions with this. Supernatural stuff. What is she doing? Why is she moving her hands like that? What buttons is she pressing? Like, what, the elevator's doing odd things, you know, that it shouldn't be doing. And who's out there? There's someone else there. They've cut out footage. So it became this whole, like, just conspiracy, like, what's going on with the elevator footage. And the whole first few episodes, it's creepy, and they're making her look scary, and it was scary. And then they say, after all of this, like, I think maybe halfway through, oh, well, she had a, and I'm not gonna like say exactly what it is, like, I don't want to get into all that, but she had been diagnosed with, she had a pretty severe mental illness. And I'm thinking, well, she's having like a mental break, like this poor girl, we've been watching it like scared, and I'm thinking, you know, all these theories and things going on, I don't know, it just felt a little dirty to me, like that they knew this, And this girl afterwards, you know, they checked her medication after she disappeared, and they came to the conclusion that she had not been taking her medication. So she had gone on this trip by herself thinking maybe she could get off of her medication. Another aspect of the story is that she had this whole online journal, I think it was like a Tumblr, where then people that started looking into her disappearance, a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people online began to really get, you know, attached to her because they were reading her, you know, her thoughts and her feelings and her story and her struggles with her mental illness, and it was so heartbreaking. And, you know, she did talk about how, you know, she didn't necessarily like being on her medication and she wanted to do something like on her own. And, you know, that does happen. Like, people think they can get off of something, or they think I'm going to travel alone to prove it to myself. Like, I can do this. And then, you know, and she'd had an incident where she was sharing a room with two girls when she first got there, which I'm like, let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. Like, did they tell her to go do, like, I don't know. Did they hear her say anything different? I don't know. That could have been helpful. So they had complained about her strange behavior. So the manager or the people at the hotel had moved Elisa to her own room. And then she'd gone to a taping of some show while she was there and gotten thrown out of that because she was acting erratically. They had witnessed her acting strangely in the lobby. And I'm thinking, at what point does anyone not say, hey, are you traveling alone? Do you have a friend? Like, yeah, she's 21 years old, but she looked very young. Even a 21-year-old looks young anyways, but she looked very young. Just, you know, do you have parents? Like, can we call, do you want me to call somebody for you? Like, do you want to talk to somebody? Like, and everyone was like, well, we couldn't call the police. The police aren't going to come. And I'm thinking, the police really aren't who you would call. Don't think in downtown LA they're going to be like, yeah, let me go run to this call where someone says someone's acting erratically. Okay, that's not going to happen pretty much anywhere. But I'm just thinking, at what point did no one ask her any questions? Or, I don't know, okay, whatever. So they kind of withheld that, and I thought if they would have just said from the beginning this information, and then of course they were telling you all this different history about the hotel, and that was adding this scary element with her, and I'm thinking the story should have been about her. They should have talked a little about the hotel, and then if they wanted to do another thing about the hotel, like made it all Hollywoody and like crazy, or what am I trying to say, like Hollywoody, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't feel right. So then weeks later, they find, weeks later, people at the hotel noticed, and the couple, I believe from Germany, I believe they were German, that were staying there, noticed they didn't have any water pressure, that the water was discolored, that the water tasted bad, and then that led the maintenance to go check in the water tanks on the roof, and she was in there. And later, at the very last few minutes of the episode, the maintenance guy is like, yeah, when I went there, the cover was open. Throughout the rest of the series, like the last 2 episodes, half of the series, they make you think that someone had put her in there, that they had closed. Who closed the door? Who closed the door? The whole entire time the filmmakers knew that, and they took you down all these different things. And I think that some of those theories were interesting because it is truly what was happening in those 2 weeks of her disappearance. But there were things that they didn't tell you and strung you along, not in like a whodunit kind of way, like, but in like that they already knew all this information. And with the whole like mental health like aspect of it, I felt like it was kind of more understandable, you know, since she'd gone off her medication. They had brought in tracking dogs, I think, one of the first days. And they went to her room, which I believe they said was on like the 4th or the 5th, maybe the 5th floor. And the dogs tracked her scent to the very end of the hallway and to the fire escape. And then they lost the scent. So maybe maybe one of the girl, or I don't know, someone she was talking to, or maybe it was just in her mind that she wanted to go to the roof, or she was running from something, or she was, you know, the footage, to me, it looked like she was having, you know, a mental break. And there was a doctor on there, and she spoke about how, you know, with the medication which she was on, with the with her actual like diagnosed mental illness, that's probably what was going on. You know, that's consistent with what someone would be experiencing, like, you know, just the behaviors and stuff, the way she was like moving and all that. And then the whole thing kind of tied into that Dark Water movie. She was wearing the same clothes as the little girl. She, I mean, almost identical, like climbed up to the, it was almost like a eerily identical story. She climbed up the fire escape or did whatever, went up to the water tank and went in, and that's what happened in that movie, which I've never seen that movie. It sounds awful. That's another story, but maybe she had seen that. So when she's having this like break or whatever, maybe she's thinking like, okay, I can go there to get away, or I have to go see where this happened. Maybe she was thinking it was, I don't know. There's no way to explain what she was feeling or what she was going through or what people experience when they experience like a break like that. Or, but you know, perhaps she goes over to the fire escape, she goes up, maybe she didn't want to ride the elevator up through the floors of, like, 'cause I think they said the hotel was like 14 or 15 stories high, you know, through all of the, I mean, craziness going on at that hotel, right? Because you would not want to stop off at those other floors, I'm guessing. Maybe she climbed the fire escape, and then the manager of the hotel said that, I think like around the 11th floor, the fire escape kind of ended where you couldn't have easy access to the roof. It made it a little more difficult to get up there. So then she climbs in, and she goes in on the 11th floor, which is where the footage was taken at the inside of the elevator. And they figured that out because they watched her pressing the buttons. The elevator video is very eerie if you don't have any context. If you think, oh, or the context is this girl just vanished after this, it's scary. If you have the context, which we should have had from the very beginning, from the first time that we saw the video on this show, that she possibly had gone off of her medication, that she had these mental issues, then it would have been a little more understandable, okay? So she's pressing all these buttons, but when she presses 11, it doesn't light up. So that tends to say, well, that's the floor you were on. So, maybe like, okay, so she goes in, that's where the fire escape ends, and she's like, well, I can't get to the roof. Like, she's trying to get to the roof, but then she gets in the elevator and realizes, okay, well, I can't go any higher, or I don't really, so she starts pressing all the buttons maybe to get back down. Maybe she's trying to skip the floors. I know we do that, like, I mean, you can do that at some hotels, like where you hit the hold button and press your floor, and then it won't stop for anybody else. And that's why the door stayed open, because she pressed the hold button open. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why in the video it was kind of creepy that like the door wasn't shutting. That's why it was a little like eerie when you first watched it, like the door wasn't shutting. And that's what I feel like. It just made it look so, it is eerie. It's a sad thing to watch. But, you know, she's pressing all these buttons, and then she stands there for a minute, nothing happens, and then I think she kind of looks out. Maybe she is scared because she's like, I don't want to be on this floor. Like, who's could be on? Or maybe she thinks, is someone holding the button? So she looks out, and that's what people are like, oh gosh, is she running from somebody? But I don't think she was, because when she went into the elevator, she was very calm. And then she was like, what's going on? And I think the elevator wasn't working for her, and I believe that hotel only had one elevator, right, that passed through all the floors. She goes out and goes to the left. She gets back in one more time, and then she starts moving a little strange. And to me, if you have no context, it's a little, you know, again, it's eerie. But if someone is having like a mental break or an episode like that, they could be seeing something that's not there. The doctor said that's like with what she had, you know, that would be something, maybe she's hallucinating, she could be seeing something that's not there. And so she goes out, goes to the left, which the general manager said that on that floor, if you got to the left, you'd see some daylight, and then there's a roof access. And then she gets in the tank. I don't know. I mean, but I do think it's really sad. And then once you get in, you know, you can't get out of it if the water levels fluctuate. So it's just really sad. And it, you know, to me, I don't want to say, oh, it's so easily explained, but when you have all of the context, when you kind of know, it does make more sense. Not that I'm saying they should have filmed it that way and just thrown everything out at the beginning and not have made us think at all, but all of the different things, the way they made you think, oh, well, talking about, it was, you know, useful to know where it was. It was near Skid Row, it was near, but they went into the history of all that, drugs, this, you thought, oh, well, was she on drugs? Did she do this? Did she go down there to do? It was like they took you down all these unnecessary things. But then I thought some of it was interesting about, there was this whole tie-in to like, not tie-in, but there was this coincidence about like stuff that was going on around the same time with like tuberculosis, and the test for tuberculosis had her same name. It was just odd. And then the dark water thing. But again, I think that's explainable if that's something she had seen, and maybe if she was, you know, that's something that she was in her mind. I don't know. It's just very sad. Again, I think that, you know, and then the general, I think someone could have talked to her, just maybe have gotten her some help. I don't know. But the manager was just like, yeah, you can't do anything about anything like that going on here, and I don't feel bad. We're not responsible, and da-da-da. And it's just, I don't know, the way she was talking about the hotel and the way she was just so nonchalant about it, it was crazy to me. It was fascinating. But I do feel like at the end, I just felt so, probably how you feel after me talking about it, because I'm sure it's the most depressing thing you've ever heard, but it's just so sad, and I didn't like the way they made it seem like something that it wasn't, or creepy, or, oh, this is scary, let's watch it. And it was just a sad story, and I just felt so bad for that girl, and I just did not like how, I don't know, I just didn't like how it was done, but I think it was interesting. If you haven't seen it, it is worth watching, but I didn't like it. But it's not because I didn't like I just think her story could have been done a lot better. But granted, you know, when I watched the first episode, before I knew anything about the mental illness or anything like that, I was telling Brad, I was like, oh my gosh, this elevator video. And he's like, yeah, I remember seeing that on YouTube. He's like, do you want me to tell you what happens? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, because I just thought she just vanished, you know, and then it was just an unexplained thing. And he's like, no, like they find out what happened. And I was like, okay, you know, it's like everything was already known. Okay, whatever, I don't know. That's kind of, I feel like, the buzzed about thing right now on Netflix. It's worth, like I said, worth watching if you're curious. But I still think you should watch Murder on Middle Beach. I think that one was, because I just want to know what happened. I'm still so obsessed with that story. So, like I've talked so long today, I hope that you guys are doing well. And sorry if the light's a little funny here or whatever, if I look like I'm on the surface of the sun. I don't know what to do. I'm sitting in front of a window, okay? So anyways, you guys, thank you for watching, and I'll link to everything that I talked about. I got so many fun things coming up, so I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye, y'all.